Hello and welcome to another edition of Bean Bites. Today we have Lady T of Lady T's DFW Hair Clinic, young entrepreneur who has created her own hairstyling salon. And we're going to talk with her and hear her story to success today. Lady T, thank you for joining us on the show. And the first question I have for you is how long have you been in business at Lady T's DFW Hair?
As of the 27th of January this month, we'll be celebrating 6 years.
All right, 6 years for a young black female entrepreneur. You made it past that 5 year point, which is a tough part for most people getting started as an entrepreneur.
Mm.
So tell us a little bit. I always talk to people, and I can imagine the challenges that you had to go through to get through to get to this point. So when times got tough, what was your why that kept you going and kept you driving through those tough times?
Definitely my why are the children. I was having an issue with um, the way that children were being treated based on how they look. And when I was a school bus driver, that was something that I noticed when I would pull into the bus lane. Administrators would come to the bus to get the kids off. And if you looked a certain way, it's good morning. And if you didn't, it's get over there, get in line. And so I was like, you know what? Something's got to be done about this. I can't, I'm a hairstylist and I'm a bus driver, but at the time I was just being a hairstylist on the side. So I was like, you know what? Let me just try to put some notes in the backpacks and just ask mom if it's okay if I did little Sally's hair. And I never would tell the parents what was going on as far as,
Hmm.
kids were being treated. I would just say, Sally's been really good on the bus this week. I would like to reward her. I'm a hairstylist. Can I do her hair? It's okay if you don't have it because I did drive for a low income area. I would just say, just let her come to my salon and I'll do her hair and that'll be my reward to her for being good on the bus. And that's how I got started. And I started doing kids. Um, right now, we start at age 2 and go up. But at the time, those were my elementary and intermediate school babies who I started noticing the difference with.
Excellent, excellent. So, where are you located in the DFW area? And as you talk about that, I'm going to go ahead and put up your website so you can share with people where they can find you and tell us a little bit more about the services that you offer at your shop.
Yes, so I'm located at 1730 West Barton Road. We're in Arlington, we're in South Arlington, and we're located right next to the Chick fil A. So everybody knows where Chick fil A is on Cooper Street. That is where we are. We're right behind Chick
Excellent, excellent. So while we're looking at a little bit on your website, tell us a little bit more about the mentors or the people that helped guide you and give you the strength to go ahead and create this business, great business for our community.
Yes, so my mentors were people who were already in the industry. My first mentor was Lady Heroine, K Way. She was a stylist that I worked alongside with for about 9 months. And she saw that I was really good with children and convinced me into rebranding as a kid stylist. She had already been in the industry for several years and she was known as the silk press queen. So she trained me. I went to one of her trainings and I paid. You have to pay for continuing education. So I paid for the training and learned how to silk press the way that she does. And so that was my niche. I knew how to silk press children's hair, and it didn't matter how thick it was, it didn't matter how long it was. I was able to do that in an hour and 30 minutes. She timed me to where I could get my time down, and that allowed me to be able to see more kids in a 24-hour period. So that's one thing that I will always give much respect to her for that, because she taught me what I know and allowed me to get in front of an audience, because she had a really huge following on social media, and she also had a lot of adult clients. So I started off doing the children of her adult clients, and it worked out because being able to do as many kids as I could in one day allowed me to see more children. And then, of course, my business started to grow from there. I don't know how to braid. I've never known how to braid. So in my salon, I've always hired multiple braiders to be able to do that, because that is a service that children need. So I only twist hair and silk press hair.
All right. So I'm assuming, with that being said, that you have a great team of stylists that you work with. So I'm sharing right now, your page with your team of stylists. So share with me a little bit about the stylists and the young ladies and men, if you have men working for you as well, and how they contribute to your shop, your vision, and our community.
Yes, so my stylists, they range in ages from 17 on up to 42. And most of my stylists are cosmetologists, meaning that they have completed the cosmetology program. I also have cosmetologists who know how to braid, who also do makeup. Um, and so that helps my business a lot, because they can do the things that I don't know how to do. I do have a gentleman that works here as well. Brandon is a makeup artist. Miss Neela Ray, who is shown right now on the screen, she is a lash technician. She went to beauty school to become a esthetician, which deals with the skin, and she is our lash tech here. Also, I have Miss Deja is a braider as well. She's from New Orleans, and she is my fastest braider. She can literally do a full head of braids in about 3.5 hours. Super talented. Miss Latoya is my lead braider, and she's been with me the longest. Toya and I went to high school together. Miss Paulette is a nail technician. I also have Miss Destiny, who I have to add to the site later. She is a certified nail technician, and she does pedicures, which is awesome, because it's hard to find black owned nail techs who also do pedicures. Um, and there you see Mr. Brandon. He is a makeup artist. He specializes in um, glamorous makeup. So it's a little bit like more over the top makeup. He also can do film and studio makeup. So I have a wonderful team behind me. They allow me to be able to do what I do. Now, I also see that you have our chaplain, Mr. Dwayne Ford, Elder Ford. I brought him on as our chaplain because we needed prayer in our salon. Anytime you're entering a new building, you need that building prayed over. And so I'm the product of a preacher's kid. So I had my dad, who's a pastor, come pray. But Elder Ford comes in and he prays for our staff, he prays for our clients. We have what's called a prayer request box, and Elder Ford takes those prayer requests that our team has put in or our clients have put in the box, and he takes those and then he goes and and pray in private for those various things that are in the box. So that is something that sets our salon aside from other salons, because we do have a chaplain. And in the event that there was a loss, he would show up and pray for the family as well.
Excellent, excellent. Talk a little bit about how your family and your spiritual upbringing helped you to manifest this vision of this great salon that you have serving our community.
Yes, so I would have to say my upbringing, I'm the oldest. My dad has seven children and my mom four. I'm the oldest of both sets. And I would have to say that because I've always had to look out for my siblings and make sure that when my parents were not home, everything still the way that they wanted to run. I've always been a leader. I've always been a person who was God fearing because both of my parents raised me in the church, and my dad is a pastor. He has a church in Pantego, which is down the street from me, actually. So shout out to Kingdom Vision Church Ministries. But anyway, um, that has pretty much taught me how to rely on God for a lot of things because being an entrepreneur, you are walking by faith all the time. You have to rely on the actions of others to feed your family. So, me having faith already, learning that at a young age and knowing how to be a leader, that just helped me inform me into being able to be an entrepreneur and own a business.
Talk to us a little bit about the transition from working in the 9 to 5, an hourly job for somebody else, and transitioning to being an entrepreneur, being your own boss. How long did it take to make that transition? And when did you finally cut the cord, so to speak, on working on that hourly job for somebody else?
So the transition was pretty swift. Um, in 2018, which is when my business started, I was driving a school bus. I made it to the summer of 2018. It was time for me to do my DOT physical, which is something that's required by the state of Texas in order to keep your commercial driver's license. I went in, and this was in June of 2018. Um, to take my physical, and they explained to me that I had too much protein in my urine. Um, so right away, my CDL was taken. I had had my CDL for 15 years. I had always just did hair on the side. So when my main job was taken away from me, um, I was already just 4 to 5 months into Lady T. So I didn't have many clients. I was still building clientele, but I was juggling both until I could no longer juggle both. And I was forced to give up my CDL. The state of Texas gave me 30 days to try to work with the doctor to get my CDL back. And by the end of the 30 days, my kidney still wasn't functioning properly enough to get those licenses back. So I lost my license and was bumped down to a Class C. Um,
Hmm.
and so that was in July because I had from June to July to get it together. So right away, I was forced out. Um, and I had to dive in just head first, not knowing how I was going to pay my car note, not knowing how I was going to pay my rent. I was a single mom of two teenagers. Um, I didn't know how I was going to make it. My oldest daughter had just went off to college, and I was like, "Oh crap." I'm in this new salon, the rent. I still have to pay salon rent. And at that point in time, I was in the suite with Lady Harold. So we're paying, the bills in that suite. And I didn't have many clients. And so what I had to do immediately was figure out what is it about my setup. What is it that I can do about my setup that's going to set me apart from every other stylist in the DFW Metroplex? And what I did was I started working 7 days a week, 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. for 2 years straight. to build my clientele. So
Mm.
that's hardly eating because I started doing so many people's hair. I started doing hair for free just to get the kids in, just so the parents could see, okay, I love her work. Let me, rebook with her. And then it went from that to the parents started coming in. And I was servicing the parents because they loved so much how their kids' hair was flowy. Because at that time I was only doing silk press and twists. And so they was like, you know what? I love it. Now I want to start coming to you. And that's how we transitioned from not having a career anymore, working, getting a paycheck that you could rely on, to now having to dive in entrepreneurship head first.
Excellent, excellent. Now, one of the things that we've talked about before in the past is your vision, or you're actually working on a program to teach kids how to be stylists and how to be beauticians. And what age group are you looking at starting to be able to give this instruction or be able to teach kids how to have their own business as a hairstylist?
So basically, I love kids that's right around the age of 13 and up because attention wise, they can they can kind of gear in with you. They have an understanding of what hair is. Anything below that, I noticed that they're kind of interested but not interested. So when I get them at 13, they're in middle school. They have maybe 1 to 2 years before they enter high school. So I get them in, and we start to figure out, how do you like to wear your hair, basically. And that way, when they get to high school, they can join the cosmetology program, because now in the DFW Metroplex, most high schools have a cluster for cosmetology. So I try to get them right before they get to high school, when they're interested in how they look, when they know that hairstyling is something that's not only fun, but it's something that's important. Um, and so that's when I like to start with my mentorship. As of late, my mentees were 17 and 16, and they were students um, at the Arlington ISD. Dan Diapert has cosmetology there, so they were students there. I do sit on the advisory board for Arlington ISD cosmetology program, um, and so I'm able to work with a lot of those kids that are almost ready to come out of cosmetology school and enter the workforce. So I actually can provide job placement for them. And most of the time, when you come out of beauty school, you're not exactly ready. So I kind of help play that middleman to kind of get them ready, to be able to start making money with the license that they do have.
Okay. So tell me, we've talked about education. How did your education prepare you for being an entrepreneur and having a cosmetology business? One. And two, what things do you think need to be changed in education to make it better for our kids coming up in the future?
So I started cosmetology at 16 at Trimble Technical High School. So I went to a technical high school where cosmetology was one of the programs that was offered. So that means that when I got my high school diploma, I would also have my cosmetology license as I'm walking across the stage. Um, I think that's very important that schools offer the program, number one. But I do think that for our future education, entrepreneurship needs to be taught early. I did not know about entrepreneurship until I was well off into being an adult. I feel like I would have had a better start, structure wise, for my business had entrepreneurship been taught to me earlier on. I do feel like um, we're getting away from being able to teach kids to be hands on, meaning they need a trade, because not everybody is going to go to college, and not everybody is going to be a white collar worker. Some people are going to be blue collar workers. So they're going to need to have a trade. They're going to need to be able to work with their hands. And I do know that that's important. That's very important for our future. That's very important for our kids who are growing up in a time where entrepreneurship is now accepted and it's pushed more to the forefront than going and getting your bachelor's degree right away. So that's what's needed, and I'm glad it's happening now. So,
Excellent. Now you said you graduated from high school, and I know your shop's opening up. Thank you for your time. I see you directing your clients and your employees coming in. My question is, you graduated with a degree in cosmetology. What other pieces were you missing in your education, or did you need to go from graduating with a degree in cosmetology to opening up your own successful shop right now? What were those missing elements that you had to grab to get to 6 years of successful business where you are right
so the program that I was in at Trimble Tech, that's the way it should have gone. I should have walked across the stage, got my high school diploma, and had my cosmetology license. That is not what happened with me. What ended up happening, I got pregnant when I was in the 11th grade. And so when you, in Fort Worth ISD, when you were pregnant and you started showing, they would suggest for you to go to New Life, which is a pregnant girls' school. And so I had to leave from clocking my cosmetology hours at Trimble Tech to go to New Life. And I was at New Life for several months until after I gave birth to my daughter. Um, so I didn't do it the way that it was set up to be done. I actually ended up going back to beauty school about 15 years later. So in 2012, 2013, I got my license as a cosmetologist from a school that was in Dallas called MJ's Beauty Academy. The hours that I had in the system from 1997 and 98 were still in the system when I went to MJ's. So I was able to finish clocking my hours and finish cosmetology then. I had already been driving the bus because I got my CDL in 2005. So I was already driving for a living. Cosmetology has always been my first love, but I had not finished until 2012. Um, so from there to now, opening a salon and owning a salon, I right after I graduated, I went to an open floor salon, and there I was a salon manager. So I was learning about the business, being a salon manager under Boutique Deshawn, Tanisha Deshawn, and I kind of watched how she ran the business. Of course, because I was manager, I was over her employees, and that taught me a lot of what I kind of do now. So transitioning from being a shop manager to going into a suite to now owning my own salon, I would have to say trial and error has taught me a lot. Unfortunately, in our business, it's a lot of gatekeeping with other salon owners. So they're not as opening and warm and welcoming with teaching you the business of being a salon owner. That's something that you kind of have to learn on your own because there's a lot of competition in cosmetology. There is a salon, maybe 10 salons on every corner. So nobody's really trying to help you out, which is why I set myself apart because I'm the first person to pour in to other cosmetologists for that reason, because nobody really helps you out. Because you then become a threat. And this is a $1 trillion industry. There's no reason for anybody to feel like we're all in competition with each other. But unfortunately, that's the way that it is. And so I would have to say, bumping my head, trial and error, Listening to my clients is what got me here. Being able to be flexible and have the hours that nobody else wants to work is what helped me build my clientele to over 1,700 where we are now. Also, being able to do the things that other salon owners are not as comfortable with doing, which is sharing, which is being transparent, which is reaching out to our future generation and grabbing them and bringing them in. That's actually helped my business be as successful as it is.
Excellent, excellent. Now, you talked about some of the challenges that you had early on. Might have been setbacks that might have been excuses for others not to do what you have done. So, look right in that camera right now. Talk to the young man or young woman that's made a mistake, whether it's having a child too soon or getting caught up in the legal system, and they're talking about nothing except excuses, things that are holding them back. Look in that camera and tell them how you overcame your challenges and what they need to do to get out of the situation that they're in.
Number one, you have to understand that you are the reason why you are in any situation that you're in. Once you take accountability for your part, your actions, then you can then start the healing process. You have to forgive yourself. You can't continue to beat up on yourself for making mistakes. You can't continue to be closed minded and feeling like all hope is lost because mistake or you did something out of order. Okay, being a teen mom was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life, but it is what shaped me into who I am now. If you forgive yourself and you can start the healing and you take accountability, the sky's the limit because you can achieve anything that you want to achieve after that. You also need to get around people who are not constantly browbeating you for the mistakes that you've made. If that means moving out of your area, I honestly left Fort Worth right after I walked across the stage. I moved to Dallas and I became a Dallas resident because the people in my community was still beating up on me for becoming a teen mom, being a preacher's kid. And so I removed myself. And sometimes you have to remove yourself from those people and their surroundings that make you and remind you of the things you did wrong. And they make you feel less than. And so by me moving to Dallas County, I was able to start my life all over. And I was able to create a path and a lane for myself. Um, Oh, can you do the mirrors, please? Do the mirrors. Um, I also was able to meet new people, and that's how I ended up at MJ's Beauty Academy because that was a school in Dallas where I was able to go and finish what I started. Um, and thank God I did because I had that to fall back on when I lost my CDL. Driving because I had been driving over the road. I've driven 44 states, driving charter buses and driving school buses during the school year. I didn't realize that I wasn't going to the restroom enough. I didn't realize that my kidneys had stopped filtering properly because you don't pay attention to that. You're just trying to get to the next stop before your hours run out. And so that's what caused me to lose my CDL. Had I kept beating up on myself about losing my CDL, um, who knows where I would be. Had I not finished cosmetology, even in a different city than where I started, I wouldn't have had that to fall back on to start my business. I would have never thought in a million years that I would be a salon owner. That was not what I was thinking that was going to be my career path. I knew I loved to do hair, but it was always just going to be a side thing for me. I love driving. I also was a police officer for 9 years. I loved being a police officer. But when things come to an end, you have to have something in yourself to tell you, you know what, I got to keep going because I'm depending on me. And at the time, my girls were depending on me. So you just have to keep going. You can't wallow in whatever your mistake is or whatever it is. Because I could have said, oh man, I lost my CDL, all hope is lost. No, you just keep going. You strap those bootstraps up, you tie them real tight, and you get in there and you figure out, okay, what else am I good at? Let's do this. And that's what's helped me get to 6 years. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful for my clients because they have never given up on me. They trust me with their children. And you can only imagine strangers coming in off of Google and I'm asking them to drop their kids off because parents aren't
Mhm.
allowed to stay in my salon. So these people, they're looking at me and they're like, you know what? She's the bee's knees. Let me just try her out. You know, they're reading Google reviews and they're seeing that we offer a wonderful service here, and our clients love it here. So I've been fortunate to be able to tap into something that nobody else really wants to do.
Great. Using that wayfinding skill to assess the skills that you have and how you can combine those to make things even better. A nice synergistic blend. Now, you talked a lot, well, a couple of things. You talked about your work-life balance, but you also talked about the healthcare necessity and needs and concerns to be able to take care of yourself. And that's a big factor or a big hold on us going from working for somebody else conventionally, usually where they have their health care as part of the benefits package. How did that, especially with what you were going through physically, how did you transition on your healthcare aspect of things as far as health insurance and everything else? How have you transitioned in that aspect as an entrepreneur and small business?
Well, thank goodness for Obamacare. I can say that. Um,
Yay!
yes, during the time where I had lost my, I had full coverage insurance when I lost my CDL. I was able to tap into Obamacare. I was able to find my community hospital, my county hospital, which was John Peter Smith, JPS here, and they had a program for me to be able to transition from having full insurance to not having insurance at all. So I was able to apply for these programs and qualify, and they were able to help me get my kidneys back on track. I'm still under care at this moment because there's still, times where I will spill over too much protein. I now learned that I have a chronic kidney disease, which is called lupus nephritis. So that's what I was dealing with and battling and had no idea. People have to start taking better care of themselves. I was eating all kinds of bad things, driving for 10 or more hours a day, driving these different states and trying all these different foods and not taking care of myself, not exercising, just eating and driving and sleeping is pretty much what I was doing. But it does have a huge impact on your health. That's why so many truck drivers, they end up having diabetes, heart issues, all type of health issues because you're just trying to get to the next stop. You're not paying attention to your body. You're not going to the doctors regularly because you're in different states and cities all the time. So it's very important that we start keying in on taking care of ourselves. Now, since I can set my own schedule, I'm able to see my doctors regularly. But for those who can't set their own schedule, who can only go by the schedules of their 9 to 5, you need to be making your doctor's appointments. You need to be utilizing that health insurance that you paying out of your check for. Utilize that. Start going to these doctors, getting your checkups, and start eating healthier. There's healthier options, even at fast food places. There's healthier options um, for those who are on the go, because a lot of us are working 2 to 3 jobs just to make it here. And so you just got to make better choices. And then you have to get active. I go to the gym 5 days a week. You gotta you got to really start to look at, if I'm not taking care of myself, I'm damaging my body and I'm not going to be here long. And for me, I have adult children now. They're 21 and 25. I want to be able to be here for them. I want to be able to be here for them when they start to have their children. So I had to get myself in order. And um, I'm glad that I actually offered that here in my salon. I do a health and wellness expo annually so that people can come in. My doctors come in and they talk to my clients and try to explain to them the different weight loss options that are available. Um, Getting in the gym, working out, food options, all kinds of things. So I'm connected to a medical spa called Core Rejuvenation, and they've been so nice to come in and talk to my clients about health and wellness.
Excellent, excellent. I see on your website you have a page about Mommy and Me. If you would share with us a little bit about the Mommy and Me and what goes on with this, and what prompted you to have such a program.
So mommy and me, and it's also dad and me because we have a lot of single dads as well. We teach them how to care for their children's hair from start to finish, from the shampoo and blow drying all the way down to the style. And my lead braider, Latoya, teaches them some braiding techniques so that they can learn the simple braiding techniques like cornrow, which are the braids that are attached to the scalp. Um, so we do have that for our parents who are struggling and needing to know how to care for their children's hair. I also have a few foster moms that come here who are maybe Caucasian, but they adopted African American children. And so we have been able to teach them about how to do our hair and what products work best for our hair so that they understand how to better care for their new foster baby. So that's one of the reasons why we started the program. And I love the program actually. Because everybody needs to know how to style their child's hair. It's a bonding moment for the parent and the child. It's time for them to, be able to talk and catch up, but also for them to look beautiful and for them to know that their parent is who helped them look that way. So I love it. And we offer it twice a year. We try to start in the summer months when school is out so that parents are not having to you know, figure out when it's a better time to bring them. And it's a 4 hour block. We also feed them while they're here. They leave with a kit that has the hair styling products that teaches them, what to buy after you leave here, what to keep stocked at your home to get what results that you need for whichever style you're trying to create.
We have some of those hairstyling products up on the screen right now for our customers for our viewers to see. Talk about the products and the different types of hair that there are out there. I think a lot of times people don't think that there's different hair textures, even amongst our people, amongst Black people. But then when you go into Hispanics or Anglo hair, how's all those different hair different, and what are the different products that people need to use to condition the different types of hair?
So I'm a hair loss specialist with Nuratress. Nuratress is a hair restoration company out of Atlanta, Georgia. Um, so I'm able to offer the Nuratress product line here, which Nuratress specializes in hair restoration. So most of my clients have a head full of hair. And then there's some that struggle a little bit with having a head full of hair. So we offer products to regrow hair, vitamins, drops, and the emergency repair drops are the most potent drops. They're all medical drops, so they're not like a oil. It's actually a liquid medication that you're putting on the scalp to help open that follicle. We have gummies for those who have a problem swallowing the big pills. But one thing I love about this product line is it's highly concentrated. So you're going to get the best of the best. You're going to get a professional grade product to be able to take home with you. The vitamins have 10,000 milligrams of biotin that'll enter your system a day. And that is one of the highest levels that is out there on the market. These products can't be bought in stores. They can only be purchased through a Nurtress professional. Um, so I do offer those here, and they're wonderful products. We also use Congo, which is a twist and defining pudding, for those who like to wear their hair in a natural state, in the twist or curly style. They would use that Congo, and it doesn't have a film or a white buildup or anything like that. It's just really smooth, soft, and it smells really good. The differences between hair. You have people, especially those who are Hispanic or Caucasian, their hair produces natural oils naturally. So their hair is already oily. Our hair is naturally dry, so we have to add oil to African American hair. What I'm seeing a lot of, because we have more biracial people than ever, uh, we are starting to mix the two hair types. And so, what I try to do here is educate them on what products to best use, because now you have two different hair textures and hair types on one head. So, with only being able to produce oil in the hair, if you're Caucasian or if you're Hispanic, and then not producing any oils as a black person, you have to be very careful, because you can clog the hair pores and the follicle if you're using too much of something. Um, that will happen, too much product, and it'll cause a buildup. So that's one thing that we do go over here is the different hair types. Out here they say it's 4C and all of that. That is not textbook. It's curly hair, or it's straight hair, or it's extra curly. That's it. That's textbook. The man made of 4A, 4B, 3C. That's a man term that is not a cosmetology or technical term for hair. So I don't tend to go by that. I go straight from the textbook and teach our clients about what type of hair they have according to the textbook, and this is what products you need to use to get a better result for your hair.
Excellent, excellent. Now, one last thing I want to cover as we close out the show. On your page, you have BK Interventions. Tell us a little bit more about that program, and yeah, also about some of the sponsors that you have helping support you and this great program.
Yes, so BK Interventions is Dean Lewis. Uh, Dean Lewis, Takia Lewis, she's been in education for several years. She's been a principal, she's been a teacher, she's been a counselor. This is her entrepreneur business. This is a business that she started to tutor our children. And she comes up with the best curriculum, so that even parents who are, especially my kids are grown, so I really don't understand some of the things that I'm seeing now when it comes to homework assignments and all that my clients bring in with them to their appointments. She actually explains everything down to where anybody could understand it. Okay, so Dean Lewis, that is something that she's really good at. She does tutor our individuals. She also provides on the job tutoring, meaning she'll come to you, but she'll also come here to the salon, and she's been really great. She has online tutoring as well, but she also has something where she can see where your child is. Where are they with their reading? Where are they? What level of math are they on? Because a lot of times our kids are getting left behind, because the classrooms, there's just too many kids in one class, and our educators are overworked, underpaid, and they can't just reel in and really focus in on each individual child like they would like to. So Dean Lewis has created a program for this, and to be able to help our kids not just get passed along, but actually be on the level that they're supposed to be on, and help them succeed in reading and in math. One of our sponsors is TJ's Catfish and Wings. Um, Travis Johnson and Marcus Campbell. Um, whatever we need, they're always willing to help and support our business. So I'm definitely grateful to them because that is one business that I can always count on. If I need help with anything, they come to the rescue right away. They are a restaurant that's located here in South Arlington off of Green Oaks and I-20, and they have catfish all the way to barbecue, and the food is off the chain.
Excellent, excellent. Now we talked about education, and of course, Beam is an education company, and we had you join us in participating in our Entrepreneurial Kids program. So, and we also came out to your shop for Halloween and shared a little bit with the kids and your clients some good Halloween candy. So, talk about your involvement with Beam Education and how you've taken what you've done with your shop and your experience with other educational programs and applied it to helping the Beam vision of education as well.
Well, let me just say, Beam, I love Beam. I am a cheerleader for Beam because, like I was saying earlier, entrepreneurship needs to be introduced to our kids at an early age so that they know that that is an option, so they know how to navigate throughout owning your own business and learning about what that means. And so the reason why I love Beam is because that is a program that's going to teach that to our children. That way they have a clear vision of what it means to be an entrepreneur, and they're introducing that in the classroom. And so what I've done is introduce this to my clients, sent out emails, done text blasts about Beam Education Foundation. I also have um, some of my parents who are waiting for the school to open so that they can get in there and get active. They're wanting their children to go there. I have clients who are educators who are interested in becoming teachers for Beam because I do share what Beam education is to my clients, and they're excited about the school that is the micro school that is opening up. And we're all ready to get hands on and dive in for our children so that they have a better education and they understand that entrepreneurship is not something that you just do when you fail at your 9 to 5. That's not what being an entrepreneur means. And so I'm excited to be on the board for Beam Education. And Dr. Nelson is definitely the bee's knees because she's been in education for so long, over 20 years. She knows exactly what she's needing to put this school together. She knows exactly what our kids need as far as being able to tap into how they learn and what will keep them engaged in the classroom instead of just throwing a curriculum at them and expecting them to excel. So I'm really excited about the micro school, and I am excited about Beam Education. I can't wait to see where Beam takes us because I do see multiple locations, I see multiple states, and even going outside of our country because this type of education is needed. So I'm excited about it.
Well, we're excited to have you as a contributing member to the Beam Vision. And I just enjoyed our conversation today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you're doing it as your shop's opening up. So if people heard some things in the background, that's you just being the boss lady that you are, directing things accordingly. So thank you so much. Any
Yep.
closing statements we you have for our viewers as we finish up today?
I just want to say you have a business that you're thinking about starting, don't let it just be on paper. Get involved with other entrepreneurs. Go to these workshops that you see in these Facebook sponsored ads. Get in a community and surrounded by people who are entrepreneurs so that you break out of that fear of starting. Don't let it just be a thought. Don't let it just be on the vision board. If this is something that you're wanting to do, if you want to start your business, start it. Don't worry about how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do that? I promise you, if you're walking in your purpose, God will provide the way. And that's my closing statement.
Excellent, excellent. With that being said, and with that in mind, I want to give a shout out to the Arlington Black Chamber of Commerce. I'm sure you're happy to give that shout out with me. They've been
Yeah.
a great resource for helping Black entrepreneurs and businesses in the city of Arlington get started and get going. Please go to their website, arlingtonblackchamberofcommerce.org, and support them as they support our community.
Most definitely.
So,
Yes.
once again, Lady T, thank you so much for joining us today. I've learned so much just by our conversation today, and I'm sure our viewers have as well. So thank you again. We appreciate your support. We appreciate the knowledge that you're bringing to our community. Hair, for those that have it, are such an important thing. I got a little bit down here, but none up there. So
Oh,
thank thank you so much for our time today. We're going to let you get back to work, being a
thank
service to your clients and your community. And once again, guys, thank you for joining us. You have a great time, and we look forward to you joining us again on our next Beam Bites.